Unless you've been living under a rock the past few years, you've probably seen some of the ways that new technology is making different people's jobs more of a living hell than they already were. The one that most citizens probably have encountered IRL is Marty the Robot, or as it's sometimes called, the Wagey Bot 5000. Now, this thing is rolling out to grocery stores all across the country. If you live in a city, then you probably have it already in your grocery stores. And the worst part about this robot is that it doesn't even really do anything. It's not a cleaning bot, as some people might think, despite costing $35,000, more than 50 times the price of a Roomba. All it really does is patrol around the store looking for spills and other messes that are on the ground, and then it shouts to an employee to come and clean it up.
Caution, hazard detected. Precaución, peligro detectado. Caution, hazard detected. Precaución.
Now, I've actually worked at a grocery store before, only about 5 years or so before these bots came onto the scene, and I can tell you from experience, it's already bad enough getting ordered around by a manager who hates his job only slightly less than you do, and cleans stuff up that he could have easily done himself. But no, Mr. Manager actually finished getting his GED. Unlike these peons, we are but plebs whose job it is to follow every order by Mr. Manager. Why, yes, I will walk to the other side of the store and pick up the small piece of trash that you just walked by, Mr. Manager. But now, supermarket employees just get ordered around by Marty. They don't even have the pleasure of encountering the on-the-job narcissism from Mr. Manager. They just have to stare into Marty's cold, dead, googly eyes as they pick up the piece of trash that you would think that a robot with the price tag of a new BMW would be able to handle. Now, this technological innovation known as Marty might not seem like clear evidence that we are living in a cyberpunk dystopia. If anything, it just looks like it's a big waste of money. I mean, it's a $35,000 robot that doesn't even actually clean up or pick up any trash. But if you still have any hope left for humanity, go ahead and throw it in the trash, because next we have the Wagey Cage, which isn't actually in production. Amazon just has a patent for it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon and actually many other retailers do start using these things in production very soon, because they might actually become necessary as warehouse work becomes more automated. But before we get into that, let's just enjoy the meme for a bit. We've got the Wagey Cage 9000. Improve worker productivity with the patented Wage Cage. No more wasted time on the job. We've got this wireless connection to deliver job orders without having to actually look at your wages. We've got the emergency bathroom light, which is often ignored. In fact, you can turn off the light altogether if it bothers you every time your wages want to get a bathroom break. Job instruction and corporate propaganda screen cannot be turned off, because you have to constantly remind the wages who's boss. You have to constantly remind them why they even have a job in the first place. You've got your controller stick so that the wagey can, move around. They're used to playing video games. It's not like they actually have any kind of life outside of work, so giving them a joystick is the best way for them to navigate. We've got the full metal bench seat. Can't have your wages getting too comfortable in their Wagey Cage now. They won't want to leave and go home from work. You've got the product grabbing arm because, of course, your wagey is too feeble to pick things up himself. You've got the piss-soaked floor because, of course, we're ignoring the emergency bathroom light. You've got safety legs to prevent collision with superior worker robots. You might think that this is to protect the wagey, but no, it's to protect that investment of the actual good robots that are going to one day replace the wagey altogether. We have the reinforced cage frame, which we had to make for legal purposes. We were going to make it out of just a bunch of random Chinese scrap metal, but OSHA got on our back. We've got the razor wire wrapping to make sure that the wagey doesn't try to leave on any unscheduled breaks. And we've got the cage lock that can only be opened by the foreman after the wagey has met all of his productivity goals for the day. Now, like I said, all jokes aside, something like this is actually going to be necessary in Amazon warehouses very soon because, in case you didn't know, a lot of the workflow of the Amazon warehouses is automated. It's not like the old days where you had a bunch of forklift certified dudes that were running the warehouse, keeping the very fabric of society as we know it stitched together with their superior forklift skills. No. Amazon warehouses are run by robots that carry literal tons of merchandise around at high speeds and will run you the fuck over. So that Wagey Cage and those bottom bumpers are actually designed to keep you from getting pancaked in case you're in a collision. And it's only a matter of time until robots are dominating other jobs besides warehouse ones. You know, what happens when offices have high-speed wagey bots that are zooming around, replacing printer ink and things like that? You're gonna have to upgrade that cubicle into a cage, or a cagicle. Yeah, that's what they'll call it, a cagicle, for office safety, of course. Remote workers might have to do the same thing too once the Amazon Astros become big enough and start becoming state mandated or mandated by your job for it to be in your house for some reason. It's already bad enough that my work laptop monitors my activity, but one day I might have to worry about the Astro 5000 running me over when it tries to feed me my Daylent Soylent. Oh, and speaking of being monitored when you're on the job, even IKEA is closely monitoring their employees' activities in the warehouse toilet because of health and safety. Oh yes, of course, the old health and safety. It's got nothing to do with making sure that employees aren't going into the bathroom to use their phones or to just get away from doing work so that we can try to squeeze every single minute of productivity out of them as we can. No, it's because we care about their safety. Now, I have no idea how watching your employees poop can possibly be done for health and safety unless you're just, I don't know, really worried about them getting colon cancer for some reason, but you could just pay them to go to a proctologist. There's no need for toilet cams. And in a statement, a spokesperson for IKEA actually told the Register, Peterborough Distribution Center is a large warehouse facility where forklifts, trucks, and HGVs are in regular operation. In support of our health and safety policy, we have a drugs testing policy in place as per industry standards. You gotta love the drug testing. You gotta love it. The installation of the cameras in 2015 was to detect alleged activity that could have resulted in serious injury to coworkers and to maintain a high level of safety on site. So, you know, what I'm guessing is maybe somebody was shooting up or like possibly doing coke off of the toilet. I don't know. Those are the only drugs that I know about people stereotypically doing in toilets. But yeah, toilet cams to catch a druggie seems like it's a little bit far. Or maybe that's just everyday life in our cyberpunk dystopia.